Hi everyone, good morning. Can you see my screen, everyone? Online guys. Can you hear me? Yeah. So in the last session, we discussed about software development lifecycle, right? In real-time projects, how can we work on CI/CD tools? How developer develop the code, right? So how the code will be moved to remote repository, which is GitHub. From remote repository, how Jenkins will take the code, how the Jenkins will move to Maven to convert the code into artifact. So this process we discussed yesterday, right? So this is a very, very important process. Every organization, they follow this same process, right? So in Agile methodology, every organization, they are following the same process. So multiple developers work on their local workspace, which we can say local Git. So in local Git, developer develop the code. Once development is completed, they push the code to remote repository, which is GitHub. Once the code is moved to GitHub, Jenkins will take the code. So we need to integrate GitHub with the Jenkins by installing plugins. Okay. So after that, we need to prepare the jobs. We need to trigger the jobs. Once we trigger the jobs, the code will be pulled from GitHub to Jenkins, right? Once the code is moved to GitHub to Jenkins, yeah. So the code is a raw code. Raw code will not understand by application servers. That is why we can convert into WAR file or JAR file or ER file. So based on the application development, right? So Maven convert into respective format. That format will give back to Jenkins. Jenkins will push that artifact to respective target servers. Any questions up to here, anyone? So before going to first tool, which is Git and GitHub. So any questions, anyone? So code will be reviewed by Sonar code review tool. So Sonar code review we can integrate with the Jenkins. Yeah, so developers create the metrics in Sonar. Yeah, Sonar will review the code and give the report. Any duplicate lines are there, errors are there, right? We get the report. So based on the errors, issues, developers, they fix the, not developers, testers, they fix the issues. Fine. Along with these tools, we are going to work on Ansible, Docker, Terraform, Kubernetes, Grafana, Prometheus, JFrog. Fine. Yeah. So what is Git? What is Git, anyone? Git and GitHub, what we discussed in the last session. What is Git? Git is a repository tool or version control tool. What is repository? What is repository? Repository where we store our source code, where we store our data, right? Which can be any data, which can be binary files, image files, video files, audio files, whatever data you want to store, right? So where we store the data, which is nothing but a repository. And second one is version control system. What is version control? We can track the changes, right? So multiple developers are working on local repository. So who is doing what? How can we identify? Who is doing what? How can we identify? By using version control system, right? Yeah. So what is Git? Git is a repository tool or version control tool. Git is used for source code management. It is a free and open source version control system used to handle small to very large projects efficiently, right? So Git is used to tracking changes in the source code, enabling multiple developers to work together. See. So what is repository? Yeah, repos can contain folders, files, images, videos, spreadsheets, etc. Right? So next one is version control system. What is version control? Right? So track changes over time, recall previous versions. Source control is the subset of VCS. What is VCS? Version control system, right? So here. So is Mr. Linus Torvalds. Is Mr. Linus Torvalds who developed this Git kernel also, right? He developed Linux kernel, right? Linus Torvalds developed Linux kernel, right? So the same person developed the Git kernel also, Git kernel, right? So replacement for Git Bitkeeper to manage Linux kernel changes. See here. SVN and Git popularity. In 2009, so Git 2.4% only, 2.4% project teams used to use the Git. So by the time SVN, it was very popular, Subversion. So what is SVN? What is Git? I'll explain. Okay, don't worry. Differences we can see that. So this is entry question. So Git versus Subversion. Entry question. So we have a session in that I explain this. Okay. Yeah. So before Git, we used to use the Subversion. Subversion also one of the popular repository tool. Subversion or SVN both are same. Don't confuse here. Subversion or SVN both are same. So slowly, Subversion popularity decreased like this. Slowly, Git popularity increased like this. Okay. So most popular language used with Git. So these are all the languages supported by Git. So any language it will support, right? So not only Java, not only .NET, not only Python, not only Ruby. So any language supported by Git. Okay. Next one, see here. Distributed version control system. What is distributed? So this is old methodology, SVN, Subversion. This is the Git methodology. So in traditional way, in SVN, so only server is having repository. We are talking about repository, right? So in traditional way, traditional Subversion is having only one repository, which is the server, central repository, right? But here, every client is having one repository. So along with the remote repository, every client is having one local repository also, right? Which is a distributed version control system. See here. So how do we get the package? How can we configure the Git in our local? So how can we start working on the Git? Let's try to understand. So Git is a small exe file. We can download it to our local laptop and we can start working on the Git. Okay. So Jenkins onwards, what we will do, we can deploy onto cloud server. Okay. So Git is small exe file. How can we download? How can we install? So let's try to understand it. Yeah. So now I want to download the Git package. I want to install the Git package in my local. Go to browser. Download Git for Windows. So download Git for Windows. See here, git-scm.com. This is the official website. Git-sourcecodemanagement.com. This is the official site. So click on this. See here. So here we have different versions are there, right? Git standalone installer. See here, standalone installer and also portable installer. Okay. Don't use the portable one. We can take the standalone only. Okay. So in the standalone, two versions are there. 32-bit Git version and 64-bit Git version. Okay. So as per your operating system version, we need to download the Git package. Right. For example, in your laptop, you have 32-bit Git. Okay. You need to download the 32-bit only. So in your laptop, you have 64-bit Git. You can download the 64-bit only. So how can we check the operating system version in our laptop? Go to this PC, right click on this PC, go to properties. Now you can see the version of your operating system. What is this? 64-bit operating system. That is why. So I need to download 64-bit only. See, this one we have to download. Click on this. Now the Git is downloading. Git is downloading. Once Git downloaded, So you can install. It is a small exe file. You can install and configure. See, now Git is downloaded. Go back to downloads. See here, this is the Git package. Double click on this. Click on yes. So now we can click on next. Click on select Git bash here, Git GUI here. So Git bash is a CLI, Git GUI is a GUI, graphical user interface, right? So command line interface. Bash is nothing but so command line interface. Okay, yeah. So here in our test lab we use the bash and GUI also, but in real time projects we don't use the GUI. So GUI is graphical user interface, right? So GUI is not secure, right? So in real-time projects, always use the Git bash only. So that is why. So here in real-time projects, this will be unchecked like this. Okay. For now, you can check this. Click on next. 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 See. Now it is asking you to install. So go next, 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 next. No need to change anything. Okay. Click on install. Once you click on install, it will be installed in your laptop. So I already installed. That is why I'm not installing. So here I want to cancel this. Click on cancel. Yes. Once you click on install, once it is installed, it will ask you to click on finish. Once you finish that, it will be installed. Right? It is very simple, very easy. Small exe file. Fine. Yeah. So once Git is installed, after that, right here, go to show more options. You can see here, what is this? Open Git bash. Open Git GUI here. Git bash. So if you right click on your desktop and yeah, if you go to properties, you can see the Git is Git bash and GUI. So that yeah, it is successfully installed. Fine. Yeah. So once Git is installed, after that, what we have to do? For example, two developers are working on their local workspace. Okay. So this we can say local workspace. What is local workspace? This we can say. This we can say Git local. ఇదే మనం గిట్ లోకల్ అని చెప్తాం. గిట్ అని చెప్పు గిట్ గిట్ లోకల్. ఓకే. సో లోకల్ వర్క్ స్పేస్ అన్న గిట్ లోకల్ అని ఉంటుంది. ఓకే. యా. సో దిస్ ఇస్ గిట్ లోకల్. దిస్ ఓకే. గిట్ లోకల్. So developer A and developer B, they are working on their local Git. Okay. So once development is completed, what they will do? They push the code to remote repository, which is GitHub. Okay. So now let's try to understand Git workflow. So Git workflow. So normally Git and GitHub both are developer tools, right? So as a DevOps engineer, we no need to worry about the developing part. So our role starts from roles Jenkins, right? So Git and GitHub both are developer tools. So developers always work on the Git. But why we need to learn Git here? Because sometimes developers what they will do, they do mistakes, right? While pulling the code, while pushing the code, while merging the code, they do so many mistakes, right? So we need to correct them. We need to correct them. So that is why we need to learn Git also. While attending interviews, we get interview questions also on Git. Okay. Yeah. So Git workflow. So this is completely developer activity. Don't confuse here. Yeah. So in Git workflow, what we will do? We create one local workspace. Okay. So developer create the local workspace. This is we can say local workspace. Okay. What is local workspace? Local folder and simply you can say local folder. Workspace is nothing but local folder. So first developer what they will do, they create one local workspace. Okay, it is a normal folder. So in the normal folder, if you add any files, if you remove any files, if you modify any files, so those changes will be tracked or not. So for example, so I have a local folder. I created one folder here which is local workspace. So this is the normal folder. So in this normal folder, I want to add some files, I want to remove some files, I want to modify some files. So those changes will be tracked or not. Any guess anyone? So normal file lo files add chesina, remove chesina, modify chesina track avutada avada. Online guys. So in the normal folder, when I add any files or folders, the normal folder, if I add any files folders, if I modify any files folders, so those changes will be tracked or not? No, because that is normal folder, right? So that folder we need to initialize as a local repository. This folder we need to initialize as a local repository. So for which command here is git init is the command. So we need to initialize. Okay. So once we initialize this local workspace will convert into Git local repository. So once you convert into repository, after that, so developer start the development. Developer start the development. So before starting the development, very first thing we need to create one user. In the local workspace, we need to create one user. What is use? Why we require user here? For tracking, right? So in real-time projects, you no need to create the user because in real-time projects, we use the LDAP user. In real-time projects, we use the LDAP user. What is LDAP, anyone? So once you join into the project, we get one user, which is the LDAP user. What is the LDAP user? Lightweight Directory Access Protocol. LDAP. So we get the LDAP user from local ITT. So once we join into the project, we get this account from local ITT. So by using this LDAP user only, we can log in into consoles, all the consoles. Okay, yeah. But here in our local workspace, so we need to create one user for tracking. Otherwise, it will not track. Okay. So very first thing we need to create one user. How to create the user? Git config space hyphen global space within the double quotes user dot name user dot name user.name space the developer's username, like this. Okay. Yeah. After that, email address also. Git config space hyphen hyphen global user dot email. So within the double quotes, you need to give the email also. Okay. Yeah. So after that, if you want to check the user list, whatever users are there, you want to check the user list. Git config space hyphen hyphen list to check the user available user. Okay. Yeah. Once we create the user, after that development should be started. Okay. How the development will be started? Vi file1.txt, for example. So user developer create the file. In that they started developing the code. Okay. So this is completely developer activity. Okay. Don't confuse. We are doing developer activity here for practice. Okay. So while attending interviews, we get the interview questions, and also developers always do the mistakes. We need to correct them. That is why we need to learn the Git also. Okay. So online guys, don't confuse here. So this is completely developer tool. So as a DevOps here, we now no need to worry about developing part. We don't do any development in real-time projects. Clear, right, everyone? Fine. Now go back to local workspace. So this is my local workspace. Okay. So open this local workspace. So here, right click, show more options. Click on Git Bash here. Open Git Bash here. Click on it. This is the interface. Okay. So now, so this is my local workspace here. This is my local workspace. In the local workspace, if I add any files, if I remove any files, tracking will not be happen. That is why what we have to do, we need to initialize. Get init is the command. Enter. Once you init, so what happened here? Initialize the empty Git repository, right? So one dot Git file is created here. Instead of this, one dot Git file is created, right? Yeah. Now, so if you go back and check in the workspace, one dot Git is created. Okay. So next one. So very first thing, we need to create one user here, right? How to create the user? What is the command here? Git config space hyphen hyphen global user dot name space within the double quotes. We can give the username. Okay. So before getting the username, which user already available, I want to check. Git config space hyphen hyphen. See here. A Rama user already there. Email address also there already. So this is only one time activity, right? So if you create one more user, what will happen? If you create one more user, what will happen? This user will be override. Only one workspace, one user only. One workspace, one developer only. Right? One repository, one developer only. You understand that, everyone? The local repository, one developer only. Fine. Now I want to add one more user. Git config space hyphen hyphen global user dot name space within the double quotes username. So Rama user already there. I want to create Ram user. Right? Enter. So now I want to create email address also. User dot email. Now give the email address also at the rate of gmail.com. Okay. Enter. So now the email is also created here. Now if you check here, list command, it will show you the new user. See here. Earlier Rama user. Now it is Ram user. Right? So one workspace, one user only, one developer only. So if you create one more user, that will be override. మీ ల్యాప్టాప్లో మీరే వర్క్ చేస్తారు, రైట్? ఎవరి డెవలపర్ ల్యాప్టాప్ వాళ్ళే వర్క్ చేస్తారు. సో అదర్ డెవలపర్ వర్క్ చేయరు, రైట్? ద సేమ్ ప్రాసెస్. ఫైన్. నౌ So development should be started here. Once we create the user, development should be started. Okay. Yeah. So now vi file1.txt. File1.txt. Insert hi. This is my first program. Okay. Escape, save and quit. Now the file is saved, right? Once the file is saved, so if you check here, Git status, you check the Git status, okay? It will show you, the file will show you in red color. File will show you in the red color. See, file1.txt is showing red color. So means what happened here? Still development is going on. If you are able to see the file color red color, okay, so the development is still going on. It is in progress. Okay, yeah. So once development is completed, what we have to do? We need to push the code to GitHub, right? Yeah. See here. Now, so development is still going on here. Okay. Once development is completed, the Git workflow, what will happen? Once development is completed, the code should be moved to staging area. Staging area. This we can say staging area. What is staging area? Staging area. What is staging area? That is the flow, Git workflow. Don't confuse here. That is the Git workflow. So every developer, every project team they are following currently. They need to follow that. Okay. So from here, from local workspace, the code should be moved to staging area. Okay. What is staging area? That is the flow, Git workflow, right? So if you want to move this code to staging area, the command here is git add space file name. Git add file name. So once you move the code from local workspace to staging area, what will happen? The file color will be changed to green color. So here it will show you red color, right? But here it will show you green color. Okay. So now the file I want to move to staging area. Go back here, git add space file name, file1.txt. Okay. Enter. So from local workspace to staging area, the file is moved. Now if you check here, git status, the file is showing green color, right? The file is showing green color. Yeah, if the file is showing green color, what does it mean? The development is completed, it is moved to staging area. Now it is ready to commit. Ready to commit. What is commit area? Explain. Okay. Yeah. So now see here. So currently the file is in staging area. From staging area, if you want to unstage, if you want to revert back, so currently the file is in staging area. If you want to unstage, this is the command. Git rm --- cached file name. If you want to unstage, everyone following, right? So don't confuse them. First session coach confusion ఉంటుంది. Okay, don't confuse. So tomorrow, day after, and coming 4 days, we are going to work on Git. Every day we follow this flow, Git workflow. Okay. Yeah. So don't confuse. This is not our job. This is developer activity, right? We need to understand this. Fine. Yeah. Now, so currently the file is in staging area. From staging area to workspace, I want to revert back, unstage. So for which what we have to do? This is the command. So git space rm space -- cached space file name. Now it is unstaged. Now if you check git status, the file is showing red color. It is revert back to previous state. Okay, so now we can open this file, add something here, insert something, escape, save and quit. Now if you check here git status, still it is showing red color. Now I want to move this file to staging area again. Okay, for which what the command? Git add space file name. So instead of giving file name, you can use dot also. Git add space dot. If you give dot, what will happen? So whatever the files are available in the staging area, in the local workspace, all the files will be moved to the staging area. If you want to move the particular file, you need to give the file name. But if you want to move all the files, you can give the dot. Now the file is moved to staging. Now if you check git status, the file is showing green color. Next one. So once the file is moved to staging area, from here, this file should be moved to commit area. So this we can say local git commit area or git local. Don't confuse here, right? So this is workspace, this is staging area, this is git local, right? So currently our file is in staging area. From staging area, if you want to move the file to commit area, command here is git commit -m commit message. First program. Okay. So staging area to commit area. I want to move the file. Okay. So if you want to move the data, so use the commit command. Okay. So this command you can execute. This message should be meaningful message. Any message you can do. So based on this message, the tracking will be happening. Okay. See here. Now I want to commit this code. So currently I'm in staging area. Now git commit -m commit message. Now it is committed, right? So once it is committed, the coding is available in the code is available in the git log. Put on the code mark code. Okay. So this is real code kadandi, just text files I'm creating. This is not real code. I'll show you real code while working on Jenkins. Okay. So currently code is here, means code is here. So currently we are in git local here. Okay. So before git local, two stages are there. What are those? Staging area and also local workspace. This is a local workspace. This is staging area and git log. Fine. Yeah. So currently our code is here. So next what we have to do? From here, we need to move to GitHub, right? So currently our code is here. So once the code is moved to GitHub, once the code is moved to local git, so tracking will be happened. Tracking will be started. Okay. So how can we check the tracking here? To check the tracking, command here is git log is the command, git log. So once you execute git log, so it will show you. Now you can see here git log. See here? Who did changes? When did changes? What purpose did changes? Yesterday we discussed. Okay. Yeah. So once you give the command which is git log, it will show you who did changes when did changes, and what purpose. So based on these comments, it will track the watch time. See here, who did changes? Ram did changes. When did changes? Tuesday, April 16th, 9:35 did changes. What purpose did changes? Based on this comments. First program, saying something, first program. See here. Ram did changes. Tuesday 16th, 9:35 did changes, and first program is saved. So based on these comments, it will track the version. So for example, 10 developers are there. They're working on different activities. So who is doing what? How can we identify? By tracking the changes. Version control system. Track the changes. Clear, right, everyone? Any questions up to here, anyone? Online guys. You can questions on any classroom guys. Anyone having any questions so far? Clear, right, everyone? Yeah. Next step is, so from here the code should be moved to GitHub or remote repository. Okay. So our code is in local. Now from local repository to remote repository, I want to push the code. How can we move the code from local to remote? So let's try to understand. So very first thing, we need to create one GitHub account. We need to create one GitHub account, which is free of cost. No need to pay anything. Okay. Yeah. So how to create GitHub account? Let's try to understand. So yeah, URL here is github.com. This is the URL. github.com. Open this. Now click on sign up. Click on sign up. See here? Now it is asking you to give the your email address. You can give the Gmail address here. Okay. So click on continue. It will ask you to give the password. Right? Click on continue. It will ask you to give your personal information. Go next, next, next. Account will be created. No need to give any credit card or debit card. Okay. It is free of cost. Fine. So once the account is created, very simple, very easier way you can create the account like Gmail account. Okay. So after that, you can click on sign in. Sign in. Click on sign in. Now, so we need to give the username and password. We need to give the username and password. Okay. So give the username and password. Click on sign in. Just a minute. Now it is asking device verification code. Nine 96093, right? 76093. See. So because I used different credentials, that is why it is asking the authentication. Okay. Yeah. See here, once I log in. So now it is showing. Now it is showing my repositories, existing repositories, whatever repositories are there. Okay. So these are all repositories available in console. So since long, you go down here. If you go down here, చూడండి. So since long, last 6 years, the date it is showing 2016. So 8 years, last 8 years repositories are there. Since 8 years I'm using this account. Okay. Yeah. See here, 2016 September 5th, I created this repository. Okay. So like this. See here, 2018, 2018, 2018, 19, 19, like this. Okay. Yeah. So if you want to push the code from local repository to remote repository, so we need one repository here. We need to be created one repository here. So these are all repositories available. Now we require one repository for our batch. For our batch, we require one repository here, right? So if you want, very first time, we need to create one repository. If you want to push the code from local to remote, okay? So how can we create the repository? See here, top repositories, click on new, or else go to right top corner, plus symbol is there. Click on this, click on new repository. Click on this. Yeah. Repository name you can give here. DevOps/84. Okay. Yeah. Description not required. So next one is public or private. This is very, very important. So public repository is free of cost. Private repository, you need to give the credit card information, right? So in real-time projects, always use the private end, right? So because secured, private repositories are secured, that is licensing. Okay. Public repository not secured, free of cost. Okay. So don't select the private, you can use the public only, right? So select public, click on create repository. See here, now the repository is created here. This is the repository URL. Fine. Yeah. Once we create the repository, now what we can do, from local repository to remote repository, I want to push the code, right? So before pushing the code, we need to establish the connection between local and remote. So connection should be required, right? If you want to move the code from local to remote, connection required, right? How can we connect? Yeah, the command here is git remote add origin. Origin is the variable. Git remote add origin. Origin is the variable. What is variable, anyone? What is variable? Value holder. Value holder, right? Yeah. So in case of origin, you can give your name also. We'll take, but this is the standard name. Okay. Git remote add origin and remote repository URL. So copy the remote repository URL. This one copy and paste it. See, this is the URL to establish the connection between local and remote. Okay. So after that, if you want to push the code from local to remote, git push -u origin to master. What is master? Master is a master branch. So tomorrow we are going to discuss about branching strategies. What is branch? Types of branches. What are the advantages of branches? We'll see tomorrow. Okay. So what I'm doing now, so here, if you open this, what it is showing here? Master. Master is the default branch. Master is the default branch, primary branch. So when we initialize, branch will be created here. Master branch. Okay. Now I want to push the code from local to remote. Right. So before pushing, we need to establish the connection. Okay. So by using this command, we can establish the connection between local and remote. So command here is git remote add origin remote repository URL. Copy this, and paste. Enter. Now it is established. Connection is established. Now if you check here git remote, just give git remote. It will show you origin. See here. Origin is the variable. In the origin, the URL is saved. GitHub URL is saved. Everyone following, right? Yeah. So in the origin, this repository URL saved. Okay. Now I want to push the code from git local git to remote repo. Git push -u origin to. Now the code is pushed. So what is the code we have? File.txt, file1.txt. That code is pushed to remote repository. Now refresh. What is this? This is my first program. New change. You give it. Same file is available right now. So if you check that file name, same data is available now. So from local repository to remote repository, we push the code. Right. So this process is very, very important. Everyone should follow this. So clear, right, everyone? Every developer should follow this. In the real-time projects, every developer should follow this same process. Clear, right, everyone? This is purely developer activity, right? So we don't need to worry about the development part. You understanding, right, everyone? Any questions here? Any questions here in the room? Up to here, any questions? Yeah. So first of all, we need to create one local workspace. We need to initialize as a local workspace. So after that, we need to create the user here, right? So if you have if you have already user, that if you want to override, you can create the user. Okay. So after that, development should be started. Once initialized, development should be started via file name, right? So once you add something in the file, if you
Sir, you are in mute. Hello.
Yeah, Ram, I think we can't hear you, Ram. Seems Ram has disconnected.
file, fine. So tomorrow we don't have holiday. Tomorrow Sri Ram Navami, right? You don't have holiday. So tomorrow you can connect online. Institute will be closed tomorrow. You can connect online. Okay, we have don't have all, so we can connect tomorrow. So day after we can come down. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you can come down. Okay. Fine. So we can wind up here. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, you can wind up here. So tomorrow we are going to work on branching strategies. So I repeat this tomorrow. Local work, yeah, this it workflow. I repeat this tomorrow once again. After that, we'll work on branching strategies. Okay.
Yeah,
We
but
can wind up
Ram, I
here.
have a question.
Yeah, go
We have
ahead,
not
please.
used
Yes.
we have not used password anywhere actually.
Which password?
But to log into the remote GitHub, don't we need any password? Password is not required.
Password required. Right? Password required. Yes. Password required. I already saved my password. That is why it was automatically pop up. Password required. Username, password.
But okay, you have already saved the password. Where you have saved your password? I mean, if it is asking for password, we need to give the password, right? Email password.
Yes, yes, correct. Once you enter the password, it will ask you to save. Click on save. That will be saved.
Okay.
Okay.
First time it will ask the password. Next time onwards, it will save the password.
Yes, yes. If you want to save, you can save. Next time onwards, it will automatically pop up.
Okay.
Fine. So we can wind up here. We can wind up here. Everyone should practice this. Okay. Yeah. So if you have any
Hello, sir.
questions, you can post it through. Yeah. Go ahead, please. Yes.
Sir, here connections means we can assume plugins connection, establish the connection.
Establish the connection. Can you come again?
We can assume the plugins, that is a plugins.
Which plugin is required?
No. A connection. We have to establish the connection remote to GitHub.
No need to give any plugin. No need to install any plugin. So we
Okay.
install plugins in Jenkins only. We don't install plugins in Git. Okay. While
Okay.
working
Thank
on
you.
Jenkins, I'll show you plugins. Okay. Fine. Yeah. So we can wind up here. Everyone should practice this. If you have any questions, you can post it. Fine. So tomorrow, day after, and Monday, Tuesday, we are going to work on GitHub. Fine. Yeah. So yeah, sometimes weekend also I'll take. Sometimes weekend also, right? 7 a.m. batch. In 7 a.m. batch, Saturday, Sunday, 2 hours I have taken. Last 2 weeks, last 2 weekends. One Saturday, Sunday, 2 hours Ansible completed. One Saturday, Sunday, 2 hours Terraform completed. Right? So like that we can have sessions once we start working on Jenkins. Not now. Okay. Fine. Yeah. So tomorrow only we have online class, no offline. Fine. Yeah. Thank you all.